focus on the individual, others focus on the city, others focus on the empire, but the Prophet ﷺ came and focused in the family. Many good families make a good society, so that is why. But a family in Islam only is a family through what is called marriage. So that is why marriage is very important and is something that we have to understand. So when we go to talk about early marriage, we will discuss it in a general sense. Early marriage in the sense of marrying a boy, or early marriage in the sense of marrying a girl. And also we'll talk about how early and what is early. Of course, generally speaking, if we take education as a criterion for deciding what is early and what is not early, then that can be a criterion accepted by Islam. Islam takes education as an obligation. Education is an obligation based on a hadith, talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli muslim wa muslima. That seeking knowledge is farida, meaning it's an obligation on every male and female. That being the case, anything that interrupts education, if it doesn't give the results of education, then that can be called to be negative. So then how early marriage is, maybe then if marriage will interrupt the path to education of a girl or a boy. So maybe if we look at our society and look at the Children's Act, maybe they are talking about 18 as the demarcation line between childhood and adulthood. Maybe in the act, anything that is beyond 18 is a child, and any marriage beyond 18, maybe they call it early, or any marriage that will interrupt the education of the boy or the child is also early. After 18, when the boy or the girl is going to school, you can still allow him or her to complete her education at the university level, to allow him or her to be marketable in the sense of maintaining a wife, especially when it comes to boys, and also when it comes to girls, maybe they should be allowed to go until they reach a university. So if that is not allowed, then there is a problem. Then you can see that Islam does not encourage, does not condone early marriage if early marriage is going to interrupt something which is better than that. But generalization of the negativity of early marriage is also something that a scholar should be very careful of, because sometimes people give their boys and girls to early marriage because when they are comparing two evils, then they will take the lesser evil. Sometimes you see a boy who is young but then trying to do what the married people are doing. You see a girl who is young, who is supposed to be going to school, but then who is insisting on doing what the married people are doing. So many people who give their children, boys or girls, for early marriage, maybe they are running from one evil to a lesser evil. So, but what Islam says is that as far as the priorities of, the science of priorities is concerned, then early marriage might be not what a family should choose, is to choose the boy or the girl to go to school, but how early it is and what is early marriage is very much dependent on the criteria given by Islam too.
Okay, doctor. Before we go to the second question, in Islam, what exactly is the age for a girl child to get married?
To get married.
Because in the Western world, if you're 18, you're an adult.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, in Islam, you know, adulthood for a man or woman has signs. It's not based on age. Adulthood for a woman is when the woman see her mens, so her period, then she is religiously assigned and she is called adult. When a man or a boy sees a dream, then that boy is no longer a boy as far as Islam is concerned. But Islam is also it's a religion of logic. It's a religion that allows customs and tradition to be Islamized. If you see that adulthood in the sense of Islam means still somebody who cannot maintain a wife, if you see adulthood in the sense of Islam means somebody who cannot maintain a family like a woman, then Islam does not encourage her to marry immediately after adulthood. Because if you go give a girl of 13, a girl of 14 who see her means to marry, then you are now doing a lot of damage to her educational and social development, because she will not be able to take care of a family. But that is with when that child also is ready to make sure that she goes to her education without involving in fornication or adultery. Whenever a girl is now insisting on involving in fornication to do what the married people are doing, now Islam will weigh the evils and the interest that marriage is having on him, then it give it to marriage. But definitely the age for early marriage in Islam is that age when the custom considered to be early. We know that our Prophet ﷺ married Khadija or Aisha when she was very young, but these are exceptional cases. The Prophet also married Khadija when she was very old. Of course, Khadija married before. So there is no a demarcation line between what is called early and what is called, mature marriage, except it is based on custom. But as long as the girl who is married is ready to take care of what is called responsibility of a family, then customarily that is not considered to be early, and Islamically also.
People believe it is compulsory for a parent to give away their child anytime they want. What exactly is the in the Islamic side say about it? What is the point?
In Islam, that is not the case. You know, marriage is a form of contract, and every contract has some pillars. Contracts, they have what they call offer and acceptance. Marriage is a form of contract. Of course, it's not just any form of contract. Marriage is a very sacred form of contract in which God has his own party. So that is why you have to have offer and acceptance. And generally speaking, the Prophet ﷺ informed us that you have to take the consent of a girl. And he says you have to take the consent of a girl and also an elderly. He said, a girl's silence sometimes is indicative of her consent. And that means that Islam is telling us that, generally speaking, any marriage should have offer and acceptance, meaning the one who is going to get married is a girl should consent to the marriage, and that is the general principle of Islam. But then, exceptionally, there are guardians who are given a lot of powers. And the first-class guardian, and a parent, a father, is a first-class guardian who is expected to be guarding the interests of the child. So 99%, I think 98% of the fathers would guard the interests of their child, and they would not just give the girl away like that. There are, of course, fathers who do not care because they just care for money, but they do not guard the interests of the child. So in Islam, a parent has no right generally to force his girl or his boy, to force her to get married. That girl's consent must be sought in the general sense. Sometimes, exceptionally, it is the girl who forces, or the boy who forces the father to do that. If the father, for example, tells you, okay, please, my girl, go to school, make sure that you get away from all those businesses with boys, you as a girl follow your father. You hardly see a father forcing a girl. But if a girl who is young also insists on going the other way, sometimes there are many fathers who use that guardianship power to force their girls to go into marriage. But generally speaking, Islam is saying, no, you have to seek the consent of the girl, you have to seek the consent of the boy. And he said, silence of a girl is an indicative of consent. But for somebody who already married, a woman who already got married, she has to express her consent to a marriage. So then forcing a girl to a marriage is not generally what is condoned by Islam, except in exceptional cases where the parent is running away from a bigger evil to a lesser evil. So we have to be very careful. Because if you also force your girl to marry, she is the one going to be with the husband, not you. So if you force somebody who doesn't love the other to go into marriage, you can see that it can also cause certain problems tomorrow, and then they will be very detrimental to the society. So generally speaking, marriage should be a consensual relationship If you see your girl, call her